Okay, right now, there is a private investigator photographing a former Turning Point USA employee's house because she won't stop saying Charlie Kirk's widow, Erika Kirk, had him killed.
What's up? What's the deal here? Are you trying to like come intimidate us or?
No, sir.
No?
No.
Not at all? No.
I was just asked to take pictures, that's it.
You're just asked to come and take pictures of the house that we live at?
Yes.
Yeah.
At the same time, Turning Point USA is quietly and systematically firing anyone who asks questions about how Charlie Kirk actually died.
The stories that are coming out right now, first-person accounts over a round of firings, stories are stunning. Truly stunning.
And based on how Erika Kirk has been acting since, September 10th, you can kind of see why people are asking.
Stop.
It feels like just days ago we were watching leaked video of Erika Kirk on a Zoom call days after her husband was killed, giggling, laughing with somebody off screen, and then suddenly snapping back into sad widow character the second the Zoom started. She told the crew, "You're family, you're our staff, we will never abandon you." And it turns out, like most things at Turning Point USA and with the conservative movement, it was a crock of shit. So right now, we've got a former Turning Point USA communications director, somebody who was with the company for 5 years, posting unhinged Instagram confessional videos.
I just have a gut feeling that I was terminated from Turning Point because I am questioning the narrative of what happened to Charlie Kirk on the day of his assassination.
About an Uber driver who may or may not exist. We have a private investigator photographing her house while she films him right back. And we have Candace Owens on her YouTube show saying Erika Kirk should be dragged into a police precinct for questions.
Erika should be dragged into a police precinct.
And then there's a GoFundMe that's raised over $71,000 for everyone getting canned in what's literally being called the Turning Point USA Purge. So when you build an empire teaching people to question everything and trust no one, don't be shocked when they start questioning you. And real quick, I'm Lauren Paritra. Please take a moment to make sure you're subscribed. I currently still have a lead on Katie Miller. It's way too close for comfort. If you're new here, Katie Miller is the woman married to Stephen Little Bitch Miller, the pale white nationalist from Santa Monica behind so much of this ICE terror. And she's building a podcast on the backs of trafficked children and kidnapped immigrants. So consider every sub, every hype, every comment, every like, share, hype as an FU to Katie and Stephen Little Bitch Miller. Erika's behavior in company meetings after Charlie Kirk's assassination has been strange as fuck, to put it delicately. Let's just say the internet has thoughts, and rightfully so. People who worked there said she wasn't grieving in the way you'd expect, wasn't mourning like a woman who just lost her husband to a bullet. And I don't know, maybe because she showed up in a glitter bodysuit and a smoky eye to the first Memorial Tour stop. She was running operations, making decisions, taking charge, and some employees started whispering, does this look like somebody in shock, or does this look like somebody who was maybe ready? His own people are now posting videos saying the official story does not add up. And I shit you not, his employees think his widow did it.
I have a lot of concerns and a lot of questions about what took place that day and the events leading up to that day.
They're saying that they're getting visited by private investigators, that they're losing their jobs for questioning things. And Candace Owens is on her show saying if the roles were reversed, if Erika had been killed and Charlie was acting this way, he'd be on trial for murder. And it's wild because this is his organization that he founded. The people he hired, the conservative youth movement he built from scratch, they think it was an inside job. His own fucking people. Like, maybe this is what happens when you spend years telling everyone to question everything and never trust the official narrative. Eventually, somebody questions your narrative, and that somebody might be your communications director of 5 years posting videos about how this Uber driver, fictional or not, might have said some things, and a private investigator is now photographing her house. Let me walk you through this absolute shit show. So here's where it starts. Aubrey Latish worked communications for Turning Point USA from 2021 to 2026, 5 years. She said that is a pretty long tenure for people at that company. And she was responsible for spreading these conservative talking points, owning the libs, you know the drill. And then in January 2026, she gets called into a meeting and abruptly fired. The reason they give her? Buckle up.
An Uber ride. that took place allegedly in the months of either October or November of 2025. And what was told to me was that a Turning Point executive got into an Uber one day and they randomly just kind of started talking about Turning Point. And the executive asked the driver, what do you think about Turning Point? And the driver proceeded to tell the Turning Point executive, well, it's just really sad. I've heard the organization's really going downhill. There's not really a direction and nobody likes Erika. And the Turning Point executive proceeded to ask this Uber driver, well, who told you that? And the Uber driver told the Turning Point executive, Aubrey who? Aubrey Leitch.
Then, this is where it gets truly stupid. The driver claims he got his intel from Aubrey. He says is a high school friend of his daughter's. That's the story. An Uber driver, high school friendship, corporate telephone games that crossed with a bad episode of, I don't know, it's kind of giving Maury. Aubrey says that that's BS, and that she then went on to admit, I have a gut feeling that I was terminated from Turning Point USA because I'm questioning the narrative of what happened to my role model and our CEO, Charlie Kirk, on the day of his assassination. She thinks her bosses killed her boss, and she got fired for saying that. And Aubrey's not alone in this. This is where it gets really interesting. Multiple Turning Point USA staffers have been fired recently in what's being called, and I'm not making this up, the Turning Point USA Purge. There is a GoFundMe called the Turning Point USA Purge Fallout Fund, and it's raised, at the time of this recording, over $71,000. Candace Owens, who also got her start with Turning Point USA, she's a former Turning Point USA employee. Now she's really known for her conspiracy theories on YouTube.
I believe Israel was obviously involved, that they were the ones that wanted him dead for saying that what is now AIPAC should have to register under FARA.
She was the one that's been playing audio on her show from an anonymous staffer who claimed that they were fired without explanation. She says a Turning Point USA executive showed up at one staffer's house and came to their home to fire her and immediately demanded her company devices back. Like a mob movie. She knew where the bodies were buried, which in this case could actually be literal. Somebody inside Turning Point USA is leaking things to Candace. Earlier this year, as I referenced in the beginning, Candace posted an internal video of Erika Kirk getting ready for a Zoom after Charlie's death. And I created a video on that one. It was weird. People have described her demeanor as insufficiently mournful. And listen, I'll put it differently. I'm just saying, if you didn't do it, why were you already in a full glitter pantsuit at 9:40 a.m.? No one accidentally wakes up dressed like they're showing up to the finale of a Vegas residency when it's your husband's memorial tour. Nobody innocent owns that many glitter blazer sets in bulk ready to go at a moment's notice. Turning Point USA sent Candace a cease and desist letter in January for spreading conspiracy theories about Kirk's death. She ignored it. She's also bound by a non-disparagement agreement from when she worked there, which makes her continued attacks legally perilous. Does she care? No. On her Tuesday show, Candace said if the roles were reversed, if Erika had been killed and Charlie was acting like Erika is now, he would be on trial for his wife's murder. And let's be honest, if people are continuously making AI slop of you, descending from the ceiling in a pleather hot pant, and people are routinely mistaking it for being real, there's a reason. And then Candace said Erika should be dragged into a police precinct for questioning. Unfortunately, the reality is if your partner is killed in a suspicious way and you're acting odd, you are very likely to be interrogated. We know by the numbers that generally when somebody is, it's usually by somebody closest to them. That's an unfortunate, dark reality. Look at the numbers. This is where we're at. And if you think that's as crazy as it gets, wait until you hear what happened at the White House. The conspiracy theories got so out of control that they derailed an entire federal commission. So on Monday, the Religious Liberty Commission held what should have been a boring meeting about fighting anti-Semitism. The former Miss California USA, Carrie Prejean Bowler, decided to use her platform to defend Candace Owens from accusations of anti-Semitism.
I would really appreciate it if you would stop calling Candace Owens an anti-Semite. She's not an anti-Semite. She just doesn't support Zionism, and that really has to stop.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know why you keep bringing her up and Tucker.
Well, because they're the two most famous anti-Semites.
There you
right
go
now.
again.
Yeah.
Everyone's an anti-Semite. Everyone's an anti-Semite, I guess.
So Dr. Phil shifted uncomfortably in his seat, as he does, because even Dr. Phil knows when shit's gone sideways and it's time to pack it up. And Prejean Bowler then cited her own conversion to Catholicism 10 months ago as proof that she understands religious nuance. Catholics do not embrace Zionism, just so you know. So are all Catholics anti-Semites? Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, who chairs the commission, fired her then 2 days later. Prejean Bowler responded that she doesn't consider Patrick's firing legally valid and plans to show up the next meeting anyway. A White House commission is now operating on "you can't fire me, I quit" kind of energy. Meanwhile, back to Aubrey, because this story takes another turn. After posting her video about being fired, she posted another one on Wednesday. Her husband filmed a man near their house who Aubrey claims was photographing their property and cars, a man that appears to be a private investigator or a process server, which means Turning Point USA might be preparing legal action against her. For what? Wrongful termination? Defamation? Knowing too much about the Uber driver's daughter? Let's pause and look at the facts that we actually know. Okay, so Charlie Kirk was shot and killed at a Turning Point USA event in September 2025. He married Erika Kirk in 2021. Aubrey says the organization shifted around 2022 to 2023, becoming more corporate, less relaxed, and multiple employees have been booted recently. Somebody inside is leaking info to Candace Owens. Candace received a cease and desist and doesn't give a fuck. Aubrey worked 20-hour days after Charlie Kirk's death with no additional compensation. And she thinks that she was fired for questioning the official story. I'd be lying if I said it doesn't look fucking sus. And if you think this story is wild, just wait. The organization is going to eat itself alive in real time. Every firing will spawn new theories, more information will come out, and the cycle will continue until there's nothing left but a GoFundMe and Candace Owens cackling into her microphone. So this train wreck is just getting started. Keep in mind, every like, every comment, every share is another FU to these maniacs and Katie Miller and Stephen Little Bitch Miller and everyone who thinks that they can build their empires on the backs of other people's suffering. You're not gonna wanna miss what happens next. Make sure you're subscribed.